Infinite banking is a scam. Well, that's probably all the information that you need to form your own opinion, right? But hold on just 1 second. Let's take a little closer look at that statement just to make sure that you have all the facts that you need to back it up. You see, I absolutely love when people say that infinite banking is a scam because it lets me know exactly how much time, energy, and effort that they're willing to put into things in their life versus just listening to some talking heads spout a bunch of BS. Now listen, I'm not saying people don't get scammed out there. Of course they do. What I'm saying is if you took a few minutes to learn the facts about the product, aka whole life, and the concept, aka infinite banking, there would be no question in your minds as to how legit it is. But believe me, I get it. Anytime you bring up life insurance and money in the same sentence, walls go up. People have been burned by bad policies, pushy sales tactics, and misinformation online for years. You can't talk about anything positively these days without people thinking you're trying to sell them something or scam them. It's ridiculous. Here's the thing. Infinite banking, when done properly, is not only not a scam, it's one of the most powerful wealth building strategies that you can put in place for your family. You may not believe that, or you may believe I'm trying to scam you right now. Whatever you decide is fine with me. But if you stick around, I'm going to completely dismantle the scam narrative with some clear, concise facts. It's going to be hard to argue against. You're welcome to try. We're going to cover where this misconception comes from, what infinite banking actually is, and I'll walk you through a few real-world examples and even some history that proves this is a strategy that the wealthy and banks themselves have used for over a century. So let's get into it. So why do so many people instantly label infinite banking as a scam? It comes down to a few reasons. Number one, bad policies and bad agents. Most people who say infinite banking doesn't work were either sold the wrong type of policy, which definitely happens because some asshole with an insurance license was just out there looking to make some quick cash, or they weren't educated on how to use it properly, which doesn't happen when you work with the right people. Neither of those things convince me that it's a scam. So let's go to number two, confusion with traditional life insurance. The average person hears whole life insurance and thinks it's just an overpriced way to get a death benefit. Although that's not what infinite banking is about, paying a certain amount of money to be guaranteed a much larger sum of money still doesn't sound like a scam to me. Number three, this one's good. Talking heads and misinformation. The internet is full of half-truths and people trying to get clicks by saying whole life insurance is a scam, just like I titled on this video. Those same people never actually dig into the real mechanics of how it works. So let's get real here for a second. Whole life insurance has been around for over 200 years, and it's changed very little over that time. Don't you think if these massive companies like New York Life and Mass Mutual were scamming people for the past 100+ years, the government would just let that slide? I don't imagine so. You see, guys, when you take a second and actually start to consider the facts, the talking heads just start to sound stupid. Number four, this is a classic, but I can't really get mad at this one. It sounds too good to be true, Shawn. You're telling me I'm using my own money and growing it at the same time. Listen, I was in a similar boat when I first heard about this. Luckily, I came from the insurance world, so I knew insurance was real. But it really did kind of feel like magic until I understood how the system was structured. I think one of the biggest problems is people just don't understand what's actually going on. They don't understand the product of whole life and the concept of infinite banking. So I think we've established that whole life insurance obviously can't be a scam, no matter what Dave Ramsey blabs about. It's the only insurance that guarantees a payout. And when it comes to the concept of infinite banking, you're literally just replacing the current banking function in your life, which is currently letting someone else control and leverage your money while you gain very little from it. Instead, flipping that script so now you control those same aspects, but instead you're the one managing and leveraging the money for gain. The crazy thing is, you don't have to have a whole life policy to practice the concept of infinite banking. It can be done with almost any account. It just works best with a whole life policy, which is why that's the product that we use to pair with the concept. So let's just nip this one in the butt. The scam narrative isn't based on facts. It's based on misunderstandings, bad experiences, and really surface level thinking. If someone took 30 minutes to educate themselves about the product of whole life, the history that backs it, and the contractual guarantees that accompany it, there would be no question about whether it's a scam or not. It's kind of difficult to argue a point when the facts are all laid out right there in front of you. I mean, I guess it's kind of hard for some people, right? Other people, not so much. So I have a question for you guys, and if you know anything factual about whole life insurance, this should be pretty easy to answer. Who owns the most permanent life insurance in the world? Banks. According to FDIC filings, banks in the US hold over $200 billion in cash value insurance on their books. It's called BOLI, or bank-owned life insurance. It's super easy to look up. With that being said, I want to make sure that we're clear about all of this. If whole life is such a scam, why are banks, the very institutions that make money by controlling cash, using it as a part of their Tier 1 reserves? Again, it's hard to argue with the facts, you guys. You see, this is where most people need to separate marketing gimmicks from reality. A properly designed policy isn't about maximizing the death benefit. It's about structuring it so the majority of your premiums end up going to cash value, your own private bank that you can build and use for the rest of your life. So let's take a moment and discuss the math behind all of this. Here's an easy example. Say that you put $10,000 a year into a properly structured whole life policy. In year one, you might have something like $6,000 or $7,000 available in cash. By year 5, your policy could already be growing by more than the $10,000 you put in each year. Unlike a 401k or mutual funds, your policy guarantees growth every single year, contractually. It doesn't matter if the stock market is up or if it's heading for a brutal crash. Your cash is growing. Now, your cash value also earns dividends on top of that guaranteed growth. Now, I want to be clear here so no one gets confused and they start to think that they're getting scammed or something. These dividends aren't guaranteed. But if you work with someone who knows what they're doing, you'll end up getting a policy started with a company that has a track record of paying dividends for a minimum of at least 100 years straight. I'm talking through wars, depressions, recessions, and even the 2008 financial crash and COVID. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds pretty consistent to me. And here's the kicker. You can borrow against that cash value without interrupting the compounding. That means your money keeps growing as if you never touched it in the first place, while you're using it as a policy loan to buy a car, invest in the real estate, put money into the market, pay off debt. It really doesn't matter. That's not a scam, you guys. That's just how properly structured whole life actually works. Now, I want to transition over to a few of the top criticisms here. Hey, I appreciate criticism. I'm sure some of you will criticize me in the comments below for saying that this isn't a scam. And then you'd be like, no, it's definitely a scam. I know all the facts you said, still a scam. Number one, the fees are too high. Yes, no one is hiding that there are costs in the early years that are paying for your substantially larger and guaranteed death benefit. But guess what? Every financial vehicle has cost. Mutual funds charge fees, 401ks have administration expenses, and banks take spreads on your deposits. With infinite banking, though, the costs are front-loaded, but long-term growth and control heavily outweigh them because at some point, much sooner rather than later, you'll have every dollar you put in back, and you'll be guaranteed to have positive cash flow for the rest of your life. There's that word again, guaranteed. Kind of funny. Hard to say when you're scamming people. Number 2, you're just borrowing your own money. Oh my God. Okay. This is a clear sign of someone not willing to take 5 minutes and understand what's going on. This couldn't be less true. You're not borrowing your own money. You're borrowing from the insurance company's general account using your cash value as collateral. Your money never leaves your policy, which is why it keeps compounding uninterrupted. That's why it's called taking a loan when you access the cash. I hope that's clear. Number 3, you'd be better off investing in the stock market. Who said anything about investing? The only thing that has to do with investing is what you as the banker decide to do with the access that you have to your cash value in the policy. You're thinking, I can only do this one thing. I can only put my money here if I do infinite banking. What we teach you is that through the use of your policy, you can do multiple things at once. I can grow my money in the policy while protecting my family, and I can take my cash value out and put it into the stock market to grow it if I so choose. It's not the either or asset, it's the and asset. Let's see how this could be of benefit. If you put your money directly into the market and you lose it, poof, it's gone forever. If I put my money in and I lose it, I'll have a loan I owe back to myself, but my money will actually still be working for me, earning and growing within the policy. Guaranteed. I know you saw that guarantee coming. I'd ask you which situation you'd rather be in, but that would be a waste of time because I already know the answer. You would rather have the policy and still have the money. Number 4, last but not least, it only works if you live forever. What the hell does that mean? I'm assuming people mean you have to live a long time for it to even get good. Again, that's not accurate at all. It's good right now, and it's guaranteed to get better every single year. Infinite banking is about using the policy while you're alive. The death benefit is just the cherry on top. So let's use it. I'm actually going to give you guys a couple examples, and one is my personal story. My wife and I had about $60,000 in debt between student loans and credit cards. The majority of that was mine. We had been saving up some cash to pay down my student loans, and recently we had sold a small piece of land that provided us with some extra cash. So instead of going and paying off our $60,000 in debt and losing the potential future earning power of that money forever, we opened a policy and funneled as much of that cash as we could through it before taking a loan and going and paying down our debts. A year later, that $60K was gone and we were debt free. Plus, that entire $60,000 was still working for us in our banking system, earning and growing, and will continue to do so for the rest of our lives. You guessed it, guaranteed. Oh, God, I love that word. This video is guaranteed to be a hit. I also want you guys to know that very well-established families throughout time have been utilizing the product of whole life and the idea of policy loans. This is not some new thing. I'm talking about the Rockefellers, Walt Disney, J.C. Penney, Sam Walton, a guy who started Walmart, and countless others. They all used whole life policies to fund businesses and build generational wealth. This isn't a fairy tale. It's not a hoax. It's damn sure not theory, it's history. But if you're one to question history, like it seems so many people are doing today, feel free to take a little time out and check out these two great resources called books and the internet, which I imagine you're currently on to watch this video. Those will be a huge help to finding actual facts about the things I say. Pretty cool, right? Now, you guys might be thinking, Shawn, all of those people are old and dead. So let's double down and talk about today. Are you aware that Fortune 500 companies hold permanent life insurance as a part of their corporate strategies? If this were a scam, do you really think billion-dollar corporations would rely on it as a guaranteed asset? I hope you're starting to understand that it's very easy to just go around and say things for the hell of saying them. But when push comes to shove and it's time to talk facts, all of those empty words hold zero weight when stacked up against a 200-year history of a product that's come through in the clutch when it's needed most. So, here's the truth. Infinite banking isn't a scam. It's a concept best practice with a tried and true 200-plus-year-old product called whole life insurance. And when structured properly, there is a very strong argument to be made that it is the most flexible and protected asset one might have in their financial arsenal. Infinite banking, simply put, is a system. It's a way of thinking about money differently. The real scam is letting people who don't know shit about shit convince you otherwise. I get it. Being a sheep and following the herd is easy. And if that's what you want to keep doing, then best of luck to you. But if you're going to talk about things you know nothing about because you don't have the mental capabilities to pick up a book and do the research, then prepare to get slaughtered just like a sheep, because that's what happens when you come to the table unprepared. This is real life, you guys. It's your money. So if you're ready to learn some actual facts about properly structured whole life and the concept of infinite banking, I encourage you to watch our full save and spend system overview and then schedule a free call. You and I will sit down, we'll chat, I'll answer whatever questions you have. I'll show you my policies and then I'll send you on your way. Understand that no one who really does this in their own life needs to sell it to you, because we know once you actually know what's going on, there's a good chance you'll know what to do. You'll find the link in the description below to watch that overview and book a call. As always, you guys, the information is free, but the knowledge is priceless. Until next time, peace.